More Q&As with you guys. If you have questions, leave them in the comments down below. The best will be answered in videos. John M. Hammer, do you have tips on how to actually set up / handle routing for hybrid mixing? For example, how many ins and out do you really need? How much changing from one unit into the next are you doing via patch base, just plugging one into the other? Okay, well, I think I'm the right guy for these kind of tips, since we have like about 60 channels of analog and counting. 2023 is gonna get crazier, and I think we're gonna need more channels, unfortunately. But anyway, so how do you set up your hybrid mixing? Well, and how many channels do you need? How many channels do you need depends on how many hardware units do you need. You need a set of input and output for every analog channel that you have. For example, always keep in mind that a pair of outputs, they go to your monitors or your monitor controller. So if you guys have one of those small interfaces that have 2 ins and 2 outs, you can't use analog unless they have an insert. And at that point, you can only use it on the 2 bus. But I don't even know if they do have it. So your bare minimum to use analog is 4 channels, right? Because 2 outputs are gonna go to the monitors, 2 inputs and 2 outputs are gonna go to your first stereo unit. Could be a fusion, could be whatever, a compressor, whatever you want. If you have a stereo unit, you will need 2 inputs and 2 outputs. If you have 2 distressors, you will need input, output, input, output. So for every analog channel that you have, you need an input, a physical input and output. In this room right now, there's 52 analog channels. That includes the mixing rig, the mastering rig, and the dedicated ADDA conversion monitoring / blah, 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 blah. So these how many channels are here right now. And the only reason because I can get away with it, with having 50 plus with over 60 channels of analog, is because of course I have the Flock patch bay. With the Flock patch bay, I have all the versatility in my routing that I could possibly ask for, and it's amazing. I did a couple of videos on my Flock. If you're not familiar with it, go watch them. As for daisy chaining units, that's also another part of the question. Before we continue, if you enjoy the videos, please subscribe and hit the notification button. And if you really want to learn how to mix and master professionally, click the join button down here, become a MixBus TV member, access the already big and always growing library of full mixing courses, start to finish, mastering courses on many different genres, and a lot more. If you like the video, you want to support the channel, either grab some merch or use the super thanks down here. Let's go back to the video. I do daisy chaining because there are some units that I never move from where they are, but there are very few, because I don't really like set chains. Like I don't like, oh, this, I'm gonna plug this compressor into this EQ. And what if I want the EQ before that? You know, it's gonna be a problem. So I only have, let me think, I only have a few machines. Like for example, my spacecraft, it's right at the end of my analog chain. It never changes because I'll never use it anywhere else. My HG2 is at the beginning of my 2 bus. So are the Neals, and I never use them, you know, anywhere else. Everything else is on the patch bay. You're gonna need as many patch bay channels as you have converters and analog gear. That makes sense? So if you have, let's say, 40 channels of input and outputs for your interfaces, and you have 40 channels of input and outputs for your outboard, compressors and EQ, your patch bay needs to have 80 channels at minimum. Makes sense? Because on the patch bay, you have all the in and out channels from your interface and all your in and out channels from your analog, and you mix and match them, okay? So it is expensive. Mixing in analog is expensive, and it requires quite some knowledge to set up your system, and to set up your system so you get the best out of it. I think I said it in a recent video that I did about the Flock. I've never been happier with any system that I've ever had, like I am with this one, with the Flock and the setup that I have. I hope this answered the question. If you guys have more questions for the Q&A, leave them in the comment down below. The best will be answered in video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Stay safe. See you next time.
Hands on my neck, hands grip my throat. Lift me up, man, take control. Heart is so gone, my type. Don't you know I fall for the bad type? You play play the role of an angel pretty well, but I can say you came straight